Let's discuss the third part of constructivism. It is John Dewey's notion of experiential education. John Dewey, father of experiential education, has been generally recognized as the most renowned and influential American philosopher of education. He is very well known for his contribution to child education, basically. He advocates strict, preordained knowledge approach of modern traditional education was too concerned with delivering knowledge. So he thinks that basically the strict and traditional approach to education is only concerned with imparting of information and not enough with understanding students or learners' actual experiences. So it's basically the actual experiences which he considers important for the development of any human learning. He proposed acknowledging individual differences. So he thinks that it is the acknowledgement of the individual differences which can enable the curriculum designers or teachers to develop resources which can cater to the needs of all individuals. It should be able to serve social purpose. Since the learning takes place in social setting and learners are required to interact in social setting, therefore, theories should be able to serve the social purpose. He supports progressive education. Progressive education is a shift from the traditional education where learners are provided with the materials they can work on themselves. Theory of experience that has been proposed by John Dewey, which has the following two components: continuity and interaction. Continuity means once accumulated learned experiences influence the nature of one's future experiences. So basically the accumulation of experiences, we can see the continuity of experiences, that when you have accumulation of experiences, they provide knowledge and information to learner to form future or develop future course of action. Interaction means past experience interacts with the present situation, and based on that understanding, one develops one's knowledge of that, not only the experiences, but how in future, if given the similar situation, how they are going to react or perform in a similar sense. Experience and reflective thinking. He proposed continual reorganization, reconstruction, and transformation of experience. He believes that through experience, man can learn about the world, and only by the use of his experience that man can maintain and better himself in the world. So basically, continual reorganization, then reconstruction, and transforming the experiences. Determining of effective experience. According to Dewey, there are certain experiences which are merely passive affairs, pleasant or painful, but not educative. So it is an educative experience that is going to benefit the learner. The third is reflective thinking, and the perception of relationship arise only in problematic or problematical situation. So reflective thinking comes from the problematic situation. When one is faced with the problem, he or she then reflect back on the experience and tries to figure out the solution or possible solution to that problem. Learning arises from the personal experience of grappling with problem. So learning arises basically from the personal experiences of looking at the problem, and based on that experience which has caused a problem and the other similar experiences, one develop a specific learning. Learner, an explorer, and experiences a map. So learner is an explorer of knowledge, and that knowledge, according to Dewey, comes from the map which he considered experiences. So it's not the instruction or stereotypical imparting of education that brings a map through textbooks or notes. is the experiences which provides the explorer who is a learner with the accurate, appropriate, and relevant knowledge. The isolation of school, it's isolation from life. Basically, school has to do with life, which means that the school should not be simply a building where the textbook information is given. It should be a complete forum, a platform where the learning of life should be given to learners. Democracy and education. According to Dewey, democracy or democratic society, in democracy or democratic society, the school should provide students with the opportunity to experience democracy in action. For example, he thinks that democracy was more than a form of government. It's a way of living which simply goes beyond politics, votes, and laws. In fact, it provides learner with the actual sense of living in collaboration or in harmony with other social groups. He emphasized that the very purpose for the reflection was the necessity of solving problems faced in habitual ways of action. So the very purpose behind reflection, that why would we reflect, is only when we are faced with certain problem that we reflect. And the problems that we faced in the course of habitual ways, that means in a routine manner, when we are leading our life, we come across a problem and it is only then we reflect. Non-reflective experience was based on habits as a dominant form of experience. Habits which simply provide the routine course of action do not make us reflective. It is only a problem which is, when once encountered, provide us an opportunity to be reflective. Now let's see the reflective theory and its component. You see 5 components. First, disturbance and uncertainty, where habit does not work. Basically, at this stage, some problem or some uncertain situation is encountered. That leads to intellectualization and definition of the problem. Here at this stage, the thought process starts and you define the problem. And at the third level, you study the conditions of the situation and you develop some working mechanism that how to deal with this problem. Then you will move to the reasoning. You will reason out. You will look at all sides of the problem, and then based on that, you will test that hypothesis which is developed here in action. After performing an action, you see some idea coming out of it or a solution coming out of that problem. So the reflective theory is based on all these 5 stages once encountered in a problem. To conclude, John Dewey proposed the theory of experience composed of material interaction with the physical and social environment. And it is the failure and uncertainty of the experience that gives rise to reflective thought and learning.